Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. We're the Movie Couple. I'm Wendy.
I'm Dustin.
And this is going to be our non-spoiler review for Fast X Family. Over many missions and against impossible odds, Toretto and his family have outsmarted and outdriven every foe in their path. Now they must confront the most lethal opponent they have ever faced. Fueled by revenge, a terrifying threat emerges from the shadow of the past to shatter Dom's every world and destroy everything and everyone he loves. Fast X, baby. We just came out of the theater. This movie was at a spicy 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah. It holds up. I think it's one of the longest Fast and the Furiouses of all.
I'm going to look that up real quick, so hold for a quick Google. All right, so after a quick Google, by 1 minute, Fast X is so far the longest movie. Sorry, the longest movie in the Fast and Furious franchise. The second longest being Furious 7 at 2 hours and 20 minutes.
And now that I go through them, a lot of them are over the 2 hour mark.
Mm-hmm.
Fast 6 was 2:10. Fast 5 was 2:10.
Yeah.
So
2 hours 15, 2 hour 30, something like that is kind of their happy medium. So this trailer, like the trailer for Fast X, and we already know, like we're on the 10th movie. If you don't understand this style and what it is to watch a Fast and Furious franchise movie, the trailer is very self-explanatory. But I will say this: when I watched Fast 8, and you'll see why I'm referring to this. When I watched Fast 8 or Fate of the Furious or something like that, I had not seen 6 or 7. So I kind of, in a way, went in blind, but not really, because I had, watched 1 through 5, right? And so I went in and I was like, I was, lost on, a couple little things, but then I got caught up real quick and I was like, okay, got it. So, I would say, if you're someone that's, watched Fast 8 and on, you probably would be fine going into Fast X. If you hadn't seen any Fast and Furious movie and you just feel like tagging along with your friends to the theater for Fast X, you are going to be super lost, because there are so many references to past moments and etc. that even though the movie is wildly entertaining with its action and car stunts, there's too much history at this point.
Yeah, and that's also a thing that this movie is going to be really relying on too, because this is going to be the first of, I think, 3 more movies. It's going to be like the ending saga of Fast and the Furious. But the thing is, though, they're bringing everything pretty much from the past into these 3 movies. So even I've seen some of them, and there were some times that even I was like, wait a second, I can't remember who that person was. Wait a second, are they related to this person? But then they would bring in people that I don't remember, like relatives.
You know, like flashcards
so
in the middle of the movie.
So it's really becoming like that spoof from Spaceballs. I'm your father's brother's cousin's nephew's uncle's former college roommate. Or however it goes.
We don't want to get too much into spoiler territory because there's a lot of fun surprises in this one. We'll talk a little bit about the car stunts because you've already seen the trailers. You've already seen all the Fast movies up to this point.
And kind of saying there's going to be car stunts in the Fast and the Furious.
So that oxymoron.
If you think that is a spoiler, then you have not seen any of the Fast and the Furious anyways.
I mean, it's really cool stuff. Obviously, car doing things that cars should not be allowed to do, defying gravity and etc. I mean, they've already gone to space, so after that, it's basically, what else can you do? I feel like they kind of tamed it in this one. Doesn't it feel like it?
Oh, yeah.
It felt like it tamed, I mean, well, there's a lot of stuff in the third act.
As you can get with Fast and the Furious.
They don't go to space in this one.
No. And I guess that is kind of the thing, is that each one of the other Fast and the Furious, they're always trying to top each other. They're always trying to be like, well, now we're going to go even bigger than this, and we're going to have a car jump off of a bridge and swing around with... So it's, they've always kind of been building up. This one was really focused more on setting everything up for this epic saga that's coming. Yeah.
The new player that have entered the Fast and Furious franchise, the big bad for this movie is Jason Momoa, who plays Dante. So if you've watched the trailers, you already know his history and how did he get to be there. And what's cool is that they didn't waste any time. Top of the movie, they went into it like, here's what happened then, and they explain that immediately, just so they can get into the rest of it. So I would want to say he might be the biggest of bad in the whole Fast franchise.
Mm-hmm.
He's the character Dante is very theatrical, very over the top, and his mind is like so broken and sick that there's a lot of the antics that he goes into it where you're like, whoa, man, that's pretty sick. But he's like getting such a kick out of it and having joy out of it. He's like it's not even anger. It's almost, I don't want to compare it to the Joker, but he's still like kind of like laughing while he's doing it.
There were a lot of times when that was kind of going through my mind. If you kind of took a Fast and the Furious take on the Joker, he's just wanting to see the world burn. He doesn't care about how many people he hurts. He doesn't care how anything gets done, as long as the people who he wants to feel pain is feeling that pain.
Yeah, I will say I was very excited about his character going because I love Jason Momoa and I think he can bring...
My man!
Yeah, it's just a lot of fun to watch him on screen. At the beginning of the film, once we got to present day, so once all the flashback and like explaining was over and we're back into present time and we meet him, I actually didn't like his character. I didn't like the choices that he had made for the character, and I was like, oh, this is not what I thought it was going to be. And it wasn't until like a little bit later, maybe second act, where I was like, wait, okay, I am into it now. And I don't want to say a specific anything because I don't want to ruin any of the scenes and stuff for you guys. But by the end of it, I was all in on Momoa's character. It's very different than any of the other like Fast and Furious characters we have met thus far.
All of the other ones, even though other villains had certain reasons, there was kind of either like criminal or a kind of a straight revenge or brother versus brother, family versus family. This one, he's just kind of plain psychotic. And honestly, Jason, you could tell that while...
He makes Cypher seem tame.
Yes.
Yeah.
He makes other characters seem, even though they were crazy, seem mild.
Yeah.
But yes, the fact that you see this evolution of his character, and you could tell that Momoa was just having a blast with this character being huge, theatrical, and you can see that his revenge has just kind of taken over his mind, but not in a... It's weird. It's not in a dark way. It's more in a psychotic way.
Yeah.
The fact that he's like giddy over the revenge that he's taking. And it was really fun to see Jason Momoa kind of just have a blast with this role and just take it as far as he could.
So the through line for Fast X, as it is with, by now, all the Fast movies, is the theme of family. And what's interesting with Dante's character is to come in and really break that family. Other villains have done it before, but he is willing to go to the most extreme, even more so than what Cypher did, to get to get his revenge. So with that, he was kind of smart about it, and you could see it in the his plan was to break Dom Toretto. And how do you get to Dom is you start peeling away at all the people that is his family, including his son Brian. So there is a lot of like, I guess, stake writing on this one because of the length Momoa's willing to go. And I enjoy that because, like Dustin said earlier, this is very much like if they are indeed, because we've heard about Fast X being like split into like part 1, part 2, and then now we're hearing that potentially it's going to be part 1, part 2, and part 3, which I'll take it whatever it is. If they want to make 3, I'll go watch 2 more, But this movie felt like we got to set it up for the next 1 or the next 2, which totally makes sense. But because of that, they're setting the board, it felt like... And I think because the family aspect of it was split so much, like they split the party.
Yeah.
For the duration, most of the duration of the movie, that it didn't feel like togetherness. Because I feel like with the Fast movies, what I enjoy watching is that family thing. Like, I know we joke about it, like, oh, family, haha. But, like, it is what you watch for.
Yeah.
And that element was less
together.
so. Yes, exactly. And that element is a lot less so in this movie. So I feel like because of that, I enjoyed it a little bit less than I did with like Fast 9 or Fast 8 and the previous. But I feel like also because of that, because they're setting up the board, the next 1 or 2 is going to be completely insane.
Yeah, and honestly, that is one of the things that this movie does suffer from, is the fact that it kind of had like 5 different storylines.
It's a lot.
And because of the certain events that happen, certain groups get fractured off into certain groups, certain people get left, and it's just the fact having to focus and build each one of those stories up to a climax that you're going to reveal in another movie. is that you don't really get to spend that much time in any one certain storyline, and you don't get, even though you need to evolve this character, all you can really do is just, all they really did was kind of like say, hey, this is what's going to happen to this character, okay, now we're moving on. So not being able to spend much time with these characters that you really want to see work together, and it's just less fun seeing them apart. I really think that it was just so many different things to focus on that you kind of lost what was really trying. They weren't able to do it in a meaningful way. They kind of did it in a quick and easy, cheap way.
Because they got to set it up for the next one.
Yeah. Hit the button, move on.
Yes, exactly. So, like, I'm pretty sure this one's fun. Next one's going to be just, like, the next two, whatever, is going to be completely insane and off the charts. And I also feel like, and I haven't felt like this in a long time about a Fast and Furious movie, but the lines felt somehow, for some reason, cheesier than any of the other ones. So to the point where, like, I noticed it and I was like, oh, wait, what? And I know it's a Fast and Furious movie, so, like, these one-liners and these, like, punny things, they come, and I welcome them, but some of them are not great. When I was like, what is happening? I made many notes as a joke in this, like, little note, but I'm not going to go through them now because that is also, like, spoilers.
Well, it's also the thing that we've heard these jokes a couple times in previous movies. The fact that they are kind of cliche reactions to certain events that happen, to where you can almost predict that's what they're going to say because they've said it in similar situations, you know, in the last 5 movies.
Yeah.
So I do feel like they weren't bringing anything fresh with the action. They weren't really bringing anything fresh with the dialogue or even the comedic moments. I didn't find as funny as I had found in some of the other movies.
Yeah, there are a couple of really great one-liners though. Like ones that you guys are gonna chuckle out. Like, it's so on the nose, it's too good.
I do have to admit, a lot of the laughter that I noticed were from ridiculous moments. Ridiculous events, like just some of the convenienceness where they go, oh, I happen to have this, and it's the answer to everything you need right here. And you're like, oh, okay, now let's go get the bad guy. And I'm like, that was so convenient. And it's at a lot of those moments where people in the theater were just like, bah! Because we just have, okay, we need to get the information out. We need to move the story forward so that we can have all this stuff build up.
Yeah, because again, this movie is filled to the brim with people, not just the core family, but we have the addition of Jason Momoa's character, Dante. Brie Larson is in this movie as well. She didn't get to do as much as I was hoping we would get to see her do, but I think that means her role in the next one or two is going to be more involved. One more thing before we get into our ranking, there's one mid-credit scene. There is no post-credit scene at the press screening, so I think you are probably okay to leave after the mid-credit, but definitely stay for the mid-credit because it's a pretty massive one. Okay, and with that said, we're going to go ahead and give our rating for Fast X. If you are not familiar with the movie couple rating system, it is listed for you in the video description below. So with Fast X, action, car stunts, explosiveness, and etc. is 10/10 because it's what we expect, it's what we love. They're still just as delicious to watch. Is it better than some of the other previous films? I am not sure in this film specifically, but are they still giant and massive and completely defying, like, the laws of gravity? Absolutely yes. Cast is a lot of fun. There are so many people now that I feel like they lost the grip of the story and the direction because they had so many different things to focus on, but we feel like this is kind of a setup for the next couple of, like, remaining Fast X films or Fast and Furious films, so we expect that because they're setting the board up now, the next two will be super amazing. So my rating for Fast X is check it out.
So going into Fast X, you expect certain action scenes and certain stunts and certain silliness. However, I feel like what they were able to achieve in previous movies wasn't brought into this one. Even though we got probably more action scenes in this movie than any of the other ones, I feel like they kind of did not bring anything new and spicy, even though, don't get me wrong, I loved some of the different stunts that they did. I just feel like we've seen them before. And they weren't able to really focus on as much of the characters that I was like, even though Jason Momoa had a blast and I loved watching him anytime he was on the screen, I'm going to give it a matinee it. So those are our thoughts on Fast X. Comment your thoughts down below after you've seen the movie. Please keep it spoiler free. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.